This time we're going to discuss about the super menu for SuperKeys. So by default I have the tab button to activate the super menu. So pressing and holding the tab button will bring up the super menu, and here we see the super menu. You can pin it by pressing this, or you can actually go into the let's unpin it here so we can see it again. Auto hide the super menu, so if you unclick that, you'll see it comes back as pinned. So let's leave it like that. Let's just unpin it and we'll activate it. See, so there it is. I'll just pin it down so we can go and discuss it a little bit. So here's a few buttons, quick access to buttons: the undo, redo, virtual copy, reset your crop, auto white balance, auto tone, copy settings, your paste settings, sync, and then sync with prompt, your match total exposures, copy from previous, reset image, and you got forward and back buttons here for navigating through your images. And here is the section where you can add your local adjustment preset brushes. So here, let's just go and populate this. So I'm going to add a dodge. I'm going to add my burn, dodge and burn, and I'm just going to add a few here: iris, soften skin, teeth whitening. I got some up here, correct dark lines, flash, and details. I got a details here. And then you can rearrange them by pressing and holding this button here. This, you can rearrange the order of your presets. So let's bring this one up here. That looks pretty good. So this is a scrolling list, so if you have more than what you can see on the screen, it'll actually bring up a scroll bar, so you can add quite a few. You can add as many as you want, I guess. So these, when you click here, these are your presets that are in here. So let's bring up here and look at your presets up in here. So it's your custom preset you got here for your brushes. That's where that list comes from. So let's bring up the super menu again. So now, by clicking on any of these buttons, so if I click on dodge, or let's click on dodge, it automatically brings you to the brush. So you can just dodge this area right here a little bit. Let's just turn up a little bit so we can see, so it demonstrates better in the video. So quickly pressing burn, I can go and burn, so it automatically brings up the brush. But if you already have a tool selected, say like the gradient tool, and you select another one, it'll change. It won't change over to the brush. So basically, if there's no tool selected, it'll automatically select the brush. Otherwise, you'll just change your preset that you have selected. So let's just reset this image here. So this allows you to specifically say, I want to use the brush tool for that preset. This here is the gradient tool. So if I want to do burn, do a burn gradient, I just click on gradient. So for example here, if I click on this, it automatically adjusts, automatically selects that tool. So if I want to do a radial burn, say like a vignette, just click on that and I'm automatically into the tool. I can adjust like that. Let's just delete that. And pressing the X button will delete the preset from the list. And that's basically that. So let's just do a quick edit with this one. Let's bring up the exposure. And let's use the details, which is basically details is details. Let's use the brush. Details just brings the exposure a little bit of texture. So just bring some more details into there. Select that tool. Let's rotate the image, straighten it out a little bit. This bothers me here. Let's clean that up. And that looks okay. Let's take out these little switches here. Somewhere like that. And let's bring up the temperature a bit. Exposure. Bring down the darks and make a little bit of curves here. And rotate it there. So we'll see before and after. Then we'll go to the next image. There. Bring a little bit of texture into the dress. Good. And here. Bring down the temperature a little bit. So here I can go, I have a radial brush or a preset that kind of takes the flash. I got a little bit of flash on here, so I can adjust that, and then you can see the effects of it here. Let's feather it a bit more. So if I go and I do the brush here, you can see here a little bit of flash hitting here. I can just paint that in. Obviously it's a little too strong there. I can bring it down. Somewhere's there. So you can see before and after. Just brings them, highlights them a little bit more. I like this chandelier. It looks really cool. Okay, so let's go to the next image. So I'm just going to bring up the exposure and edit here a bit. Bring down the curves, some punch, a little bit of saturation. And let's take that tree out there. Somewhere's there. There, highlights down, bring a little more details in the dress. So for an example here, I want to soften skin. Just press there, and I got the soften skin brush selected. Just like that. And if I want to do refine that a bit, so there I can see results here. Oops. Let's go in here. I just want to move it up from the eyes and usually from the mouth. I don't want that to be softened. Just doing this quickly just to demonstrate. And there. So we can see, I can adjust the strength here. Somewhere's there. Something like that, so we can see before and after. So if you're editing portraits, you can quickly go in and select your brush. So I want a teeth whitening. I mean, her teeth are really white here, but let's just do a little bit up there and here. Looks good. And if we wanted to add a vignette, let's just do it for fun here. Let's do a burn, a darken, burn. Yes. So we do a vignette here, something like that, and you can adjust the amount. Let's do a little bit of extra here so you can see it in the video, something like that. So we see before and after. The next here, brightness down. Here I'm going to add a vignette to this whole image, feather it a bit. Somewhere's there. Brightness up, temperature down. Highlights down, bring some details in our dress. A little bit of punch. More brightness, a little less temperature. And let's use a brush. Here you can see the flashes in here. I'm just going to darken that a bit. And maybe a little bit here to bring in some, to draw you into them. And then you can adjust how strong that is. Somewhere's around there. Still find the temperature a little bit warm there. Somewhere's around there. So we can see before and after. A little bit of texture. Sharpen it up a bit. And there, before and after. And the next image. So we'll bring up the exposure. Here I have a details brush, so I'm just going to click on that. It just brings out the details, brings out some clarity and some texture, and a little bit of brightness. Just paint that in there. And maybe we'll do a vignette, a burn, like that. We'll just do a vignette around here. Let's bring it down a bit, feather it in a bit. And now let's bring in some temperature, tint, exposure, highlights down a bit, a little bit of curves, bring some punch, so you can see before and after. There. That's a quick introduction into the super menu. Let's edit this image and bring the brightness up. A little bit of curves. Bring some detail there. Temperature down a bit maybe. Brightness is good. Highlights down so you can see the dress. Some details here. Shadows up a bit. More darks. Bring the suit down a bit. There. And let's do a softened skin brush here on her just a bit. And color range so we get her skin somewhere's there. So we can zoom in to see how we did there. And we got a little bit on the eyes here. Somewhere's there, looks a little better. And take it off her mouth, her lips, like that, quickly. And we can adjust. Somewhere's there, looks good. And say if we want to do teeth brush, we can just go there, do the teeth. Teeth look great. Everything looks good there. And same thing with the iris if you want to lighten up the eyes a little bit. There, so you can see before and after. Zoom out, before, after. So let's select these three and then let's do a sync. So you can see they're all very similar now. And then let's just bring this in a bit. Next image, and there. Something on here. There. Straighten this one out a bit. Let's go with details brush. So bring out the details in here a little bit. Straighten it out a bit more. Bring up exposure, highlights down a bit. And let's just throw a vignette around here. And there. Maybe a little bit more straightening. There. So we'll see before. After, you can see the details and the ring come out there a bit. And we'll do one more. So bring the exposure up. Curves. Let's add a vignette. Burn around these. Somewhere's here. Straighten it out. Amount. Feather. Somewhere's here. And let's do a details brush on the shoes. So before and after. Before, after. Okay, that's it for that. And we'll see you on the next video.